Welcome to the first of our six-part series finale of Get a Grip on Lighting 2017 to 2025. And today, it's interesting because when we started thinking about shutting down Get a Grip on Lighting, we forgot that we have to do advertisements in the beginning. So this episode of the show is brought to you by Halco Lighting, HALCOLIGHDING.com. Greg, Eric.
We can talk about the products and their portal, which are great, both of them, but also the company, and that's what, as a kind of a part of this farewell is you look at people who have just supported distribution throughout the years, throughout our
Mm-hmm.
career. I know Halco has had a few owners, but so have a lot of companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've gone through a few things, but we knew the original owner, Mike. You and I were good friends with him
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and the company's still there. They're still solid. Great product. So I highly recommend Helco as a lighting manufacturer for all distributors out there. Use Helco.
Go to halcolighting.com. And of course, if you have light bulbs in a warehouse and you sell them over the counter, on the internet, over the phone, blah, 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 you go to nald.org, your organization. So back to what I was saying, though. In the last 8 years, Greg, we produced a lot of podcasts, man.
It's crazy. It's hard to even keep track, right? Um, I know we have a numbering system on this, but we have also done a ton at shows. We've done live ones. We've done, different anytime. Like half the time you just say, we're recording right now. And I'm like, where and what? And we did it, and that was a big thing. So I don't even know the number. It's well more than you see on the Get a Grip on Lighting website, though. A lot more, probably double.
Yeah, I would say it's in the thousands because if you add up the Business Blast and the Lighthead online video show, the Restoring Darkness podcast, the Get a Grip on
Yeah.
Lighting podcast, and then all the live streaming and all that, it's more than 1,000 lighting related podcasts listened to, recorded, and produced with like a 99% success rate, Greg, except one. The wolf in sheep's
One didn't have
clothing.
success.
And I will never forgive Scott Griffin. I will never forgive Scott Griffin for his one error. But man, that's a good run, Scott. Like a 99% rate of successfully produced podcast with the right ad, the right thing, clipped at the right point, took the person's edit out at the right time, and everything was great. That's a pretty good success rate, Scott Griffin. Welcome to Get a Grip on Lighting.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
So Scotty, where did you come from, man? Who are you? Like, I know Mike knew you before, but how did this all come about? How did you become our producer?
Okay, so the story I tell everyone is, where do you work? I do podcasts. What podcasts do you? Well, here's the story. So I used to do freelance video work, and there used to be a guy who worked at Michael's company, Atlas Lighting, and said, my boss wants a video. I know you do video. Okay, yeah, sure. So I came in and met with Michael. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So I made a little video for him.
What was the video?
It was something you invented, Michael.
Yeah, I have a U.S. patent for that video. It's a recycling box that you put in waste tubes into, and if you knock it over, the bulbs don't break, and it fits into a storage room, and it fits 4 on a skid, and all this sort of stuff. So I did this promo video with Scott Griffin back in 2011 or something like that, Scott. For my I have a U.S. patent for that.
Yeah. So the video was successful, and then 4 or 5 years later, Michael calls me up and says, "I want to start a podcast." I guess he didn't know anyone else because I didn't know how to do podcasts either. But I guess
Right.
he knew I was the kind of a video technical guy and didn't know anyone else to call. So yeah, sure, let's give it a go. So I came in and did the research. That's the kind of computer you'll need. That's the kind of cameras you'll need. And then I got all the stuff together. Had you already started one with a different producer though?
Yeah, you came in around episode 6.
Yeah, because you'd built this studio, right?
I had so what yeah, we had some producer meltdowns, Greg. You remember in the first 6
I do.
shows until Scott Griffin came along,
Hmm?
right?
You've been since number 6?
Number
Is that right?
6. He definitely
Like,
recorded Arnold Wilkins. Number 9. He definitely recorded the Arnold Wilkins one.
okay.
And we had a couple bad calls. I don't know if you remember. I wish I had a picture of me all hooked up with all the wires and all that with that old podcast recorder, trying to get on Skype. And
Yeah.
that was Scott Griffin, and then he figured out the software license that we use, and he said you got to buy this, and it was like five. I don't remember. It was a lot of money, Greg. Do you
Yeah.
remember how much it
Yeah.
was?
It was in the thousands, wasn't it?
Yes, thousands or something. Before this is
I
like
thought so. I don't remember.
video calls before COVID, right? Scott, and you
Yeah.
found that software, and then what happened?
Um, then I started producing your podcasts on a kind of a part-time basis. Um, yeah, I wasn't full-time then, and I kind of went back to my freelance life, and you hired a couple of other producers. And then about 5 years ago, you called up and said, there's too much work for one producer. Do you want to come full-time? And the time was right, so yeah, sure, okay. So, been doing this full-time since 2020?
I think it was
21?
I think it was pre-pandemic, Greg.
I think it was towards the end of it, wasn't it? Or the middle of it?
Something like that.
Is it over?
And one of those guys that you're talking about that's in the mix there is Scott Wachter, right? Who will be interviewed on a closer episode to the series finale, because Scott Wachter is listen, for the lighting industry people out there. Scott, tell us about Scott Wachter and working with Scott Wachter.
Well, I haven't worked with him too much because he works from home, but he's a very, very smart guy. Yeah, like he knows what he's doing. Um, Maybe, I don't know, you have to watch him a little bit sometimes. Some of his emails are hard to read because he just types them out like that. I can see him typing them. Send. What do you mean by that? But yeah,
Passion.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But smart guy, smart guy.
Well, that's good. So, what is your favorite podcast that we've ever done?
Oh my God, favorite.
Or just pick a
don't know.
memorable one. I don't even know the answer, so don't ask me. Maybe I got to figure that out. But
I don't know either.
Oh, I really couldn't. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. Don't
any
know.
that stand out from, other than recent ones? Do you recall any like, oh yeah,
Well, the
that,
one I blew stands out.
Yeah,
that was
one's
recent
good.
as well.
But you know what the funny
Yeah.
thing is? Scott Griffin is not really listening to the content of the podcast.
Yeah.
He's listening to it technically from a podcast production perspective, and he can see when the hosts are excited and there's an exciting quote. I mean, think about all the social media clips on top of everything else, Greg.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
And
listening
you
for
happen
that
to
too.
find. Yeah. So what is that process like? How do you know?
Well, I write down things. I know you can't read my chicken scratch, but I write things down if they sound like a good clip. Put down the time code. Although lately, ChatGPT is pretty good at picking out clips.
Is that right? Like
Yeah.
you can enter
Oh,
it
yeah.
in and it tells you
You can.
like this would be a good.
Transcribe the podcast and then load it into ChatGPT and say, pick 8 good LinkedIn clips for me.
It's awesome.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And those have pretty good action. I think that helps get people to listen to it some.
Yeah.
What do you think of the timing? We used to be, Mike would want to talk for 3 hours at a time. We got him down to 1 hour, and then it got down to about 45 minutes, and then it started getting more in my comfort zone at 20. What do you think is the right move?
I think 30 to 40 is kind of the good zone.
Mm.
Depending on the content and the interest, but this is a very narrow audience. It's a certain kind of person that listens and they're interested, one would hope.
Yeah.
Maybe not to every episode. Some were outside the scope of lighting a little bit, but I think 40, that's your average commute. People can play it on the radio through their Bluetooth.
Yeah. And other than the obvious, most challenging aspect of your job, that's working with Mike. What is another one that's that's obvious? That's already done. But what are the other biggest challenges of doing this podcast?
I guess it's when the technical aspect goes awry. Sometimes it's like I don't know what the hell it is. And you're just, I don't know. Something buzzing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But generally, it runs smoothly.
Yeah.
You know why?
And
You know why the relationship between Scott Griffin and I worked, Greg? I'll tell you right now. You want to know what it is?
Uh-oh.
I was going to guess. I don't know if I know. No.
That's because he's really passionate about this too. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like Scott,
Cares.
yeah, he's as disappointed as I am. And sometimes I'm not perfect when I'm being the host of a podcast, and he can notice it, and he'll say a few things to me like, "Hey, buddy, where are you going with that thing? That's a little bit weird. You're going off topic there."
Sure.
And then we're from we have totally different political opinions, Scott and I, like completely like opposite.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
We don't agree on anything basically.
No, come on. You say we agree.
So, but like he's as passionate about it as we are, and that's what makes a good podcast producer, right? People think, oh yeah, I'll just listen to this podcast right now with Scott Griffin, Scott, and then they'll write down all the ideas you gave them, and then they could just replace you. That's crazy talk, Greg Ehrich.
Yes. No. Yeah, that is right. Takes a lot to do, and Scott, you've done an awesome job at it. I think one of the challenges I thought about too is like guests, getting good people on. Like we've always wanted to have, good discussions. And there's people that reach out just to get an advertisement for their product. And it's like, that's not really what we want. Maybe your product is good enough to be advertised and that'll come out in the podcast, right? Like if it's cool enough, we're going to ask you about it. And then other people are going to hear about it, but we don't want to hear just, oh, you have a flat panel or whatever it is. And we had a few of those over the years, but
if
guest acquisition, if they pay, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've had some that didn't pay and tried.
Going back to your, what's the hardest part? The hardest part was getting and booking guests, scheduling. Yeah. So, you try to get one a week and then someone calls that morning, I'm sick, can't do it. Can we do it next month? Okay, now we have to fill the rest of the month. So let's see, I'll move that one up here and then I'll try to get them in there. And
you got to work with both of our schedules. And
I got to work with you guys, yeah. Find the times to record. That's tough.
It's crazy how much we've got done. I have a lot of people that ask me, like, how do you guys even do that? Like, like when I say we do at least one a week, and they're like, how? And, a big part is because you've made it easy. Is like helping us. Once it's in the calendar for me, it's there. And that's a big thing. And so thank you for doing that for sure. I think part of it too is the audio piece. Like even today, I'm in a new spot, and I've never done a podcast on AirPods. Never. First time, and it sounds like it's working. I don't hear myself, but it sounds like we're doing okay. But you have that all the time too.
Yeah. There's always often something comes up, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, and then the pressure's on from me. But you know what? One of the things you said, Greg, earlier about how hard it is to work with me, Scott, can we agree that clearly Greg has not worked as much with Scott Wachter and Webster Marsh as me? Like he doesn't know what it's like to work with other creative talent. Creative people are difficult to work with, and Scott makes it easy for everybody. Like somehow, the one person that's never drawn into conflict, Greg, is Scott Griffin. He's always just in the middle there and booking everything. And Webster's driving me crazy with his lighting controls podcast course. He wants to do a live course, all that kind of stuff. And he's always in the middle, just keeping everybody calm.
Hey, man, as long as you sign my checks.
I like that.
Yeah, man. Well, Scott, I'm going to leave the last word to you after we talk about Halco Lighting. Go to halcolighting.com. Check them out. And then the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. Thank you, Scott Griffin, for everything you did, man. It was amazing. You kept everything straight. You kept everybody on track, the whole crew. Scotty Wachter should be buying you a case of beer or something. Because everything flowed through Scott Griffin, Greg.
You should be.
I will be for sure.
That's for sure.
But I mean, everything flowed through Scott Griffin, Greg. So Scott, thanks very much for being part of Get a Grip on Lighting.
Yeah, I want to thank you
very
guys.
good.
It was a fun opportunity. It was fun, and made a couple of good friends out of it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. But got to move on.
5
That's
to
life.
go.
5 to go.
Well, yeah.
Bye for now.